Hey guys, how's it going? Mail here, and this will be my first vlog video. So I'm just gonna wing it because it's my first time doing this, so completely first take and no edits or anything like that. So it's for the most of you that know me, I moved to Korea about a month ago. So on the 25th of March was my anniversary of successfully living and working in Korea for 1 month. So it's been quite some time, and there were days that maybe I thought that I couldn't make it. It's been tough. It has been tough quitting my job and coming 10,000 miles all the way to Asia. Uh, living and working in a country where I don't even know the language, and just completely changing my career from working as a banker in commercial lending to, a kindergarten teacher. So first and foremost, let me talk about my flight. I left Pearson Airport in Toronto on the 25th, and I arrived the next day in Incheon Airport in Korea. And it was a 13-hour flight, and man, it was really long. That was probably one of the longest flights that I can remember taking. But luckily, I had my own personal TV, and I had like a Netflix style application. I was just watching movies and kind of dozing in and out. But I was ready to get off the plane in like around maybe the 10th hour or so. So I finally landed, and my boss said that she would be meeting me at the airport and picking me up. And she also said that I would be going to her place, which is kind of a shock because I had thought that I would be moving into my apartment the very first day that I arrived in Korea, which was not the case. So unfortunately, my boss was busy that day, and I actually had to get picked up by her husband and her two kids. And so yeah, they had a sign for me and just saying my name, and I went to them and we drove to their house. And later at night, I met her for the first time. I was really jet lagged, so all I really did was eat a little bit and then I slept. And then the next couple of days, I was actually spending the day with my director at her house until the other teacher moves out of his apartment, which is this apartment that you see right now. So I didn't know that I was not going to be moving into my apartment right away. I was actually going to be staying with my director, and this is something that they told me originally, and I didn't mind because her house is really really nice, and it's just maybe 10 minutes away from where our school is. But it was a little bit of a shock for me. It wasn't something that I was ready for, to be living with my boss for the first couple of days, and even her husband. And her husband is a director too of the school, so I was living with basically the two senior directors of the school. So not only was this kind of like a trial period for me, because they're obviously going to want to see how I live and how my habits are, because they're going to be moving into one of their apartments, but it was really scary for me because I didn't want to have any negative interactions with them that would maybe taint their view of me and change their view of me and have like a wrong impression for the entire year. So the first couple of days of school was just me observing other teachers, and I got to observe the male teacher that was in the school, and I'd be taking his apartment, and this is pretty much what the apartment it was. So I just took my notebook and I wrote a bunch of notes of games that they played, how they teach the kids, how they discipline their behavior and whatnot. And it was basically the last day of the school year for them, so it was pretty relaxed considering what I'm doing now. So it was very different. I don't say it would, I would can't say that it helped too much, but it was at least good exposure for me to see what the school looked like, and I got to meet the kids, which is really nice. And the kids are really wonderful. They're really loving. So once the old teacher was able to move out, I finally got to move into my apartment. And the apartment was actually a little bit smaller than the original pictures that were shown. It's pretty close though, but it's pretty small. As you can see over here, that's my loft. Right here is the window to the street. I think it's called Xinjiang Road. Down the street right over there is the subway station. So I'm literally 5 minutes away from a subway station, which is really awesome. If you look up a subway station map on the internet, you'll see Korea has crazy lines going all over the place. I'm from Toronto. We have 3 lines. So, you know, it can be difficult to get to some places, but here you can get to a lot of places through the subway. That's my kitchen over there, and that's my couch back there. I finally got a couch. I got some furniture. And yeah, the couch wasn't here before because the old teacher had a dog, bought a dog here, a bulldog, and basically he chewed the shit out of everything. I'm not kidding. The couch was probably chewed up. That's why it's gone. I am missing a step from my stairs up to my loft because it got chewed up, and I'm also missing a couple of the crown molding for some of the walls is chewed up as well, and you know a couple of handles on these drawers over here are chewed up. So you know I showed it to my director and hoping she's gonna fix it in the future, but she's taken note, and she's also told the other teachers as well, like, hey guys, just a heads up, if you are gonna get a pet, you know these things might happen, and you know like we're gonna have to deal with them somehow. And you know it just really sucks that I come to a place that was, you know, looks like it was fairly used because the dog was really young and was chewing on everything. Um, but honestly, I'm just grateful that I have a place to live in, and that they're being taken out of my salary, and it's 10 minutes away from my school, or 5 minutes even. You know, not many people here in Korea apparently have a loft as well. So I think we're doing, from what I've been told from the other teachers, that we're doing pretty well here. Oh yeah, and hope you don't mind if I have one right now. I'm just gonna crack one open. This right here is called Fee Lights clean barley flavor. It's really cheap. Beer is really cheap in Korea. This cost the 6 pack cost me, you know, over $6 or something. So maybe $1 a beer, and it's actually pretty good. So I'm just gonna have one if you don't mind. I mean, I like to settle down a bit and wind down when I come home from after a long day of work. So basically, I work with a team of teachers. We all have Korean co-teachers as well, and I work with I think maybe 8 other people. Half of them are American, I think, and then there was maybe 2 other Canadians. So I'm really happy that, you know, that I have other Canadians that I can connect with. And most of the teachers are actually female. And there's one other guy who's a male, and he's from Washington. He's American, and so it's just me and the other male, and the rest are female. And then we also have Korean co-teachers, so they're basically the teachers that are in the room with us, helping us handle the kids, you know, doing any necessary translation that we need to do. They serve the food for them. They also, you know, help them with the bathrooms. I gotta give it up to the Korean co-teachers because from what I've heard, they pay less. They get paid less than we do, but they also have to do more work, like wipe these kids' butts when they go to the bathroom, because some of them are really young. They haven't even learned how to wipe their butts yet. You know, if you think about the Korean age, and some of these kids are maybe, you know, apparently 6, they're actually really 4. So some of these kids, maybe, I mean, I've seen some kids in the school, they're even younger, and so you can expect that these guys don't even know how to use a bathroom completely independently, which, you know, you got to give credit to the Korean teachers for that kind of patience and work and doing that for us. I'm really thankful. So basically, the school, we have one big room, and that's where we do all our work in, and we change theme every couple of months or so. And you know, at first it was really, really tough because I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I didn't know where I can find any resources. And maybe the second week, I got a bad review from one of my co-teachers saying the lesson was not good. And that is really hard to hear because, you know, when you're trying, when you're first starting out in a job and you're 2 weeks in and you're getting a bad review, you know, I don't know about you, but I don't like getting bad news. You know, I always want it to be good, but unfortunately, it's always part of the learning process. So, you know, I try not to be too butthurt about it, and I just took that as a grain of salt, and some really good feedback, and I was able to find some additional material that they had on the internet for the website. And the next week, the class was significantly better, I found, because I just found that I was running out of material for this particular class. And, you know, living in Korea after a month or so, there's been times where I've gotten severely homesick. The first week that I got here, I had some severe stomach problems that I actually had to go to the pharmacy for and get some pills. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but let's just say it was not a pleasurable experience. You know, I did not want to go out too far that was not near a bathroom, and I didn't even want to use a public bathroom, and I actually had to, and it wasn't nice. This particular public bathroom was not great. And 2 weeks after, the weekend that just passed, actually, the week that just passed, I had a really bad sore throat and a cold. You know, there was stuff going around in the school. I heard some kids coughing. I heard some teachers coughing. So during those moments, you know, and you're sick, I got really homesick. I got really homesick, and I really reconsidered, you know, if coming here was the right decision. And my mom, you know, thank goodness for her. She was really supportive of me. And I told her, and I texted her, it's like, I'm not feeling well, you know, I feel like I'm doing bad at my job. I got a bad review, and I kind of want to come home because, you know, I don't have a cell phone yet. I haven't been able to go to the gym because that's one of the things I really do in terms of therapy. You know, I really like to exercise, and I can't do those things until I get paid or until I get a Korean telephone number and have a bank account. I have those things now. I just haven't really gotten during those times I couldn't get those things because I didn't have my alien registration card, which takes about 2 to 3 weeks of process after you land. So those things are coming around now. You know, I'm getting more accustomed. I bought some stuff for my apartment. I got a painting here, and I also had a couch. I didn't have a couch before, so I have somewhere to sit down on at least. I'm on the ground. I'm hoping to get a desk eventually. So this place is coming along. It's feeling a little bit more like home. I got a department store down the street, and I'm just picking up small little things I need to just, you know, spruce up my apartment because the guy before me, he basically had nothing. I think his girlfriend was Korean, so he just stayed at her place all the time. And here, I guess, was his place that he just needed to sleep in when he came home after work. So yeah, you know, another thing to talk about in Korea is the nightlife. I haven't really got to experience the nightlife too much, except for in the city of Bucheon. I'm hoping to get out to Seoul a little bit more as the year progresses. You know, I know it's cold, and a lot of the teachers told me is like, yeah, they don't really get out too much if the weather's not nice, and it's really humid here. So you can imagine they have like a pretty cool nightlife if the weather's really warm. I went near Bucheon University, and it's pretty happening there. It's pretty crowded as well. You have like basically buildings like stacks and stacks of restaurants and bars. So we went out there to get some all you can eat Korean barbecue, and it cost maybe $10 per person, which is really cheap. Unfortunately, they don't offer beef as an all you can eat option because beef is not really locally grown here, so it's a little bit more expensive. It gets imported from Australia. So that is definitely one of the things I'm missing out on. I didn't eat a crazy amount of beef when I lived in Canada, but maybe you could get a steak or some ground beef for really cheap, maybe $5. For here, it might be $10 or more if you consider the exchange rate. You know, I've seen steaks here for $20 even, and it's maybe like 8 ounces or so. But if I could show you a picture of the meat here compared to Canada, the meat here looks like it's a lot better quality. I mean, the beef, there's a lot of marbling in the veins, so I'm excited to give that a go one day. You know, when I'm feeling like I want to spoil myself, I might want to buy myself a steak sometime or make some galbi on the grill or something. I don't know, or go to a Korean barbecue restaurant because I heard that the galbi set is hella expensive, like maybe 100,000 won, which is more than $100 Canadian, and that I can't afford just yet. So yeah, you know, work has been really good, you know, and I changed my job from being a banker to being a teacher. And guys, I gotta tell you, there are politics everywhere you go, no matter where you work. As long as you work with people who have different views and different goals, there are always going to be politics, okay? So from what I've gone out with some of the Korean teachers and they let me know, you know, I'm getting treated here really, really well. I don't know why, but apparently I have the best class schedule. I do not have any classes after 5 o'clock. And that, as a first time teacher with no experience, is unheard of. And a lot of these teachers are second years or even third years returning, and they didn't even get those schedules, right? And I also have kids that have been in the school for 2 to 3 years, so they already have a great English, they already have a great grasp of the English language, so I can speak to them and they would understand. Where some of these teachers are getting kids where they don't speak a word of English and only Korean. So it's really hard to maybe control them and teach them and try to bridge the gap between the two languages. You know, I think it's really helpful if you have some knowledge of another the language before. You know, it's easier to teach these kids as opposed to these kids who have no knowledge at all and they're also really young. So I don't know why that happened. You know, it might have to be something to do with me being one of the oldest teachers here. The other teacher who's older than me, I think, is maybe 39 years old, and she's a female. And I keep hearing this thing about, you know, males generally get treated better in Korea. I don't know why that is, if that's true or not, but apparently that's what's going on. That's what I've been told, that I got a pretty sweet deal, knowing that I have this class of 10 kids, and I also got a really great schedule. I'm able to finish at 5 o'clock. I also have a computer in my classroom which can print to the main printer, because you know, if you actually see our office, we have two printers and only a couple of computers, and the computers in the teachers' classes are not connected. So apparently, I'm not supposed to tell anybody that my computer is connected. So just if anyone asks, it isn't. But like I said, I didn't ask for these things. They were just things that happened to fall under my plate, and I'm really grateful, you know, considering these teachers who have known and been here for a year, you know, what it is to have less, you know, or something that they don't like. So I'm really grateful for that. I don't know if it has anything to do with me being older or me being a male or anything, but my intention here is to become a good teacher and hopefully inspire these kids. And speaking about the kids, they work pretty hard. You know, they know a lot for their age. They're learning Chinese, they're learning violin, they're learning the xylophone. You know, things that I did not learn at all when I was 4 years old. I don't even think I learned another language when I was four. Maybe I knew a little bit of French because my parents are spoke Creole. They're from Mauritius, and I knew English, but I mean, not to this extent where they're learning English or and getting drilled every single day. So I got some really good tips by the teachers and let them know what's going on. And they told me that I was being too easy on these kids. So I got to be a little bit harder on them. And they've been experiencing that, and I won't lie. Sometimes I do get frustrated with them, but there are a couple troublemakers in the classroom as well. But I'm able to set them straight now, and you know, raising your voice, I think in North America is not really a thing uh, as much anymore. Like you shouldn't yell, you know. In my opinion, the really good teachers that stood out to me were the teachers that didn't yell. And here, maybe I've raised my voice a couple times to the students, and apparently that's really effective for them, because they tried to remind me, the other teachers. I said, you got to remember that these are not young adults yet. You know, you can't reason with them because there is no reason. It's hard to reason with them in a different language. You got to really correct their behavior, because they'll be doing things like staring off into space, or hitting another student, or speaking Korean to another student, or playing with their shoes, or picking their nose and eating it, or just, you know, not paying attention, not focusing in the class. And I'm supposed to set them straight. So I'm also supposed to help them learn how to behave in an academic manner, which is something I wasn't expecting. But overall, you know, I said to myself, the first day is going to be hard, and the second day is going to be hard as well, and maybe the first week. But I knew that the 30th day compared to the first day was going to be a lot easier, and it's definitely true. And I'm really enjoying my job. I'm finding my niche a little bit better. You know, I'm more on time for my things, more prepared for the classes and whatnot. I'm loving hanging out with the teachers and going out with them. And you know, I can't wait to learn the subway system a little bit better and get a gym membership and get an actual cell phone around here. Once I get those things, I think, you know, I'll be able to move forward wherever I need to go in terms of my career and living here a lot faster. So yeah, sorry about this blog, guys. It's my first one, and I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.